Hello everybody, my name is Juanizi and I put the dub in Wotaku. Today we're going to be talking about a franchise that I absolutely adore. A franchise that I didn't start playing until well into its years, but I'm so happy that I hopped on the train. And that is the Like a Dragon franchise. So when I first heard about these games, I heard about them in passing here and there. I always try to keep track of games that kind of have a little bit of a following, even like a cult following. So it started out when Yakuza 0 was first announced. I played that game. And honestly, since that game, I have not missed not one release of those games. I bought Yakuza 0 maybe a couple months after it was released. I wanted to give it a try. And at the moment I played it, I was hooked. I could not stop playing it. And it was very weird for me because I normally play video games. And that game would not have struck me as something that I was going to be addicted to. Because it wasn't doing anything revolutionary. It wasn't something that was like God of War or like a crazy AAA release that is so groundbreaking. It was just a really good game, just a solid game. What I loved about it so much was definitely the story. I'm a huge Kojima fan, so a complex story with a bunch of twists and turns and things that seem a little bit out of the ordinary, like just enough where you're like, this doesn't make any sense, but I'm gonna go with it because you guys are going with it. That is what I love, and this game franchise always delivers, man. All the characters are amazing. From Kiryu to Majima, everyone there gives you a reason to root for them, gives you a good reason to, even some of the villains, you're like, damn, I wish you weren't a villain because you're kind of sick. But the characters are just top notch. There hasn't been a character that I ran into that was a part of like the main characters that I felt like was a waste. And maybe it's just because I'm a huge anime enjoyer, maybe I'm a weeb, but like, it's just so damn fun. It's literally an anime video game is what it feels like. It feels like I'm playing a shonen. The combat is super enjoyable. It doesn't like stand out like a Devil May Cry. It's not something that you're gonna walk away from like, this is the best combat I've seen in a video game in a long time. But it's fun enough and complex enough for you to be able to enjoy it as somebody who wants to string together cool combos or somebody who just wants to mash square into the next cutscene. You can enjoy it in both ways and it works really well. And one of my favorite things about this game are all the cool little mini games that are inside of it. If I wasn't always in a rush to beat these games because I am so behind, I think I still need to beat 3 more games so I can be fully caught up. I would really spend a lot of time trying to get every single different plushie from the claw machines. I'd be trying to get all the best scores in golf, going to the batting cages and absolutely smacking them back. There's so many cool things to do. And if you're somebody who enjoys a bunch of like different mini games or a bunch of variety of things to play in your video games, this game delivers, man. They really captured the essence of what I feel like made a lot of PS2 games a lot of fun. One thing it kind of reminds me of is Sly Cooper. Back in Sly Cooper 3, there was always like a mini game when you were playing as Bentley or like playing as Murray. There was like, oh my god, I can't remember what small mini games, but like I always remember like in PS2 games, they would just randomly add smaller games inside of them for separate sections. But Yakuza kind of just puts those into the game as just like mini games you can play on your own, and there's a reward to it as well. Some mini games will have really good rewards at the end of it, like the batting cages will have really good armor that you need in Yakuza 7. There's a bunch of reasons to keep playing these games, and if you're just a completionist, then you're really gonna have a lot of fun. It's not just, hey, I'm gonna go over here and collect these little trinkets from all around the map. It's like, hey, I'm gonna get really sick at this cabaret mini game, and it's going to be a lot of fun doing it. And not only that, but I'll feel accomplished at the end of it. And don't even get me started on the side quests. At first, the side quests to me felt like a bit of a chore, because when I was first playing it, again, I wasn't really exposed to these kind of games. So I was just thinking to myself like, ugh, walk over here, tap A, talk to this person, yada yada. But when you actually sit there and read instead of like skipping through, because I always thought side quests were just for XP. I always felt side quests were just for the value of the reward at the end. They really make you fall in love with some of these stories. Some of the characters genuinely have moments that you kind of are ready to cry for. The reward of these side quests is just actually playing them. It's just the weird stories, the cool little pieces of information you find out. I no longer play the side quests for what I could possibly get in the end. I kind of play the side quests just so that I can like see what the world of Kamurocho is like. I really just want to see what kind of people live in this place, what kind of people are interacting, and seeing like Ichiban fight like a bunch of grown men in diapers, like that's just hilarious. And now in the newer games, I feel like the rewards are actually really good, so there's kind of no reason not to play them. I played Yakuza 0, Kiwami 1 and 2, I played 6, and I wasn't ready for the jump to Like a Dragon. I didn't know how I felt about the game going to a JRPG. I just started getting into the franchise and I was like, whoa, we're changing things up so drastically. I don't know if I'm ready for this. But honestly, it was a really interesting change. That's the thing about this franchise. It always seems to surprise me. When they decided to change it to Like a Dragon, I felt like the name change was probably necessary just to make it more, I don't know. I felt like saying the name Yakuza in Japan probably didn't feel the best to some people, but marketing wise, I thought it was probably a good idea. When they changed the way the game is played, I was a little concerned because I really enjoyed the beat 'em up style of Yakuza 0 through 6. But then when I realized that they not only changed the Yakuza franchise to Like a Dragon, but they created a new franchise called Judgment just to have the gameplay of one, but the storyline of the old games in another one. It was really ambitious and honestly, really smart. So with Yakuza 7, RGG decided that they were going to take a new direction with the Yakuza games and turning it into a JRPG. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not against turn-based games, but it's the total opposite of what I was used to and what I was expecting. I was a little unsure if I was going to enjoy it, but after beating this game, I honestly can say it is probably one of my favorite, if not my favorite, Like a Dragon / Yakuza game. I do like JRPGs, so at least I was walking into a genre that I was going to like. But the story, the characters, the wild side stories, it was all right there. Everything that I wanted from my Yakuza game was present. The only thing that was different was the combat system. And speaking of the combat system, the part that I really enjoyed the most of this game was that. I actually really enjoyed playing it because it felt more like a Paper Mario style JRPG where you can press a button. It's more interactive than your regular JRPGs. And the classes, all which were real jobs, beautiful touch. It's actually really, really funny. I love seeing the wacky moves. I love seeing the wacky items that you would use to give somebody who is a janitor like a mop that gives him +3 damage. It's so wacky, but it fits so well into this franchise. And it's one of the things that I like the most about this JRPG because you can have a JRPG but also still be grounded in reality. And chef's kiss, just a great idea. I'm so happy that they made that decision. Honestly, cannot wait to see what the new one has in store for us and the new wacky jobs that they'll have. I am a huge fan of this and I hope they never go back, at least with this franchise. But they don't ever have to really go back because the soul, the combat, the original gameplay of those Yakuza games, they're still around. If Like a Dragon was a story continuation of Yakuza, then Judgment is the gameplay one. If you like the old style of the Yakuza games, then you're really, really gonna enjoy Judgment. Judgment is more so, imagine if your protagonist was still in Kamurocho, still beating people up, but instead of being a part of the Yakuza, you're a detective. So you're still working closely and around the Yakuza world, but you're not necessarily either trying to get in it or work with it. You're kind of just very adjacent to it. I will say the decision to make the main character, Taka, a detective, really, really smart. I love the fact that you are now kind of playing both sides of the Yakuza story. You're a cop, but you're also not really a cop because you're a private detective. It gives you a lot of room to make very crazy narratives and very interesting narratives. Now, I'm still working on beating Judgment. I bought it on sale a while ago, and I've been playing it on my PlayStation here and there, but I really put a lot of time into it when I was sick a couple months ago, and it was the best decision I ever made. I had a lot of fun with the game. I'm really enjoying it, to the point that I brought my PlayStation, which was something that I just play in my room, down to my work desk because I now want to play this and beat this game before anything else. It has all the fun gameplay. It has all the interesting side stories, which are now called side cases because you're a detective. And they had a couple new additions. I'm playing Yakuza 3 at the same time that I'm playing Judgment. And there's chasing in Yakuza 3, which they also put in Judgment. The Judgment chase scenes, so much fun. I have a lot of fun running around, doing little jumps and running around trying to catch people. It's super dope. The only complaint I have about Judgment, and I haven't played Lost Judgment or really seen anything about Lost Judgment, but I am not a huge fan of tailing the perpetrators. I think it's cool. Like, I think it's a great concept, but sometimes it kind of goes on for too long and I'm just like, all right, hurry up and go. I'm trying to get to the fun part. But all in all, it's been a blast. I'm having a lot of fun with Judgment. I cannot wait to get to Lost Judgment, and I truly, truly hope they keep making these games because I think it is so important. Like, I would think if this franchise is to succeed, you need to have a mix of both. You need to be playing your Like a Dragon, but you also need to be playing Judgment because both of these games give you that experience that the original Yakuza games built on. But separating them is going to give them so much more room to grow. I think what Like a Dragon needed was definitely keeping the story going, because we love these characters, we love the world that they built up, we love the angle of being Yakuza but not being Yakuza. I think that needed to continue, and I think Ichiban is a great protagonist for that. And by having Ichiban doing it in a different gameplay style with classes and focusing more on having friends, I think it's a way better breath of fresh air than if you would have continued with the same kind of gameplay. But of course, not throwing that gameplay away and giving it to games like Judgment, or even like a Dragon Ishin. That game is also really fun, which I've played a little bit of. Having that gameplay still live on in different ways and different narratives, I think is a really smart idea. You're no longer boxed in, and you can really let the franchise grow, and you can use it as kind of like a safety net. You know this combat system works, so why not use it on some of your wackiest stories? Why not use it on some of your wackiest settings? You know that this gameplay will always carry, so why not do something different with it and see how far you can push the envelope? With all that being said, in this day and age, it's really hard to separate games. There's so many games that come out on a monthly basis, and there's so many games that just get kind of swept under the rug. So for a game to come out in the PS2 generation and to still be relevant today in 2023 and be thriving with so many new additions and so many new fans and so many more games to play in said franchise, it's why I think Like a Dragon is probably one of my favorite franchises of all time. They're not afraid to take risks, and they're not afraid to adapt to the growing market. We see a lot of franchises kind of die out because they keep going with the same formula and don't really want to do anything to change or revitalize the franchise. And then you see franchises that learn that maybe in this new era, we need to start making some decisions that might be a little risky. And it pays off. And I'm really happy that the Like a Dragon game's around and that it's paying off for them. I can't wait to play Infinite Wealth. I think that game is going to be amazing. I'm going to be playing Gaiden, the Man Who Erased His Name as well. Believe you me, I'm locked in with these games. I think this franchise will continue to grow. I hope I'm not jinxing it. I really feel like this is going to be something that I will be able to show my kids and my grandkids, because this franchise does not seem like it's ready to die out anytime soon. But that's all from me, guys. If you're a fan of the Like a Dragon franchise, let me know which one is your favorite game. I think I'm going to have to put Like a Dragon, Yakuza Like a Dragon as my favorite game right now, but Zero was so good it's not even funny. I absolutely love Zero and the way that you level your character up, because the grind in some of these games is too real. But let me know what your favorite game is in the comment section. Drop a like if you enjoyed this video. If you want to see more Yakuza content, more Like a Dragon content, believe you me, I will be playing these games on this channel. I'll be streaming them, so make sure you sub up and we can definitely get together, play some games. We could talk about it. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll catch you guys next time. Wotaku, out.